The Pittsburgh High School class of 1958 is still led by its class president, Ken Rosted. Those of you who know Ken know he was an outstanding football player when he attended Fitchburg High School. We will be holding, as mentioned earlier, their 65th class reunion this Saturday afternoon at the Fay Club in Fitchburg. And tonight we have several members of the class of 1958, led by Pete Stevens, who played on the FHS team that beat Leominster in 57, 20-14 at Doyle Field. Also with us is Rosary Bolio, class of 58, is here. Played on the 56-57 basketball team that went 17-1 to win the North Worcester County Championship. Len Wilson, class of 58, is also a generous contributor to the FHS Alumni Association and a major supporter of the FHS Hall of Fame. Annette now Dumont is now the 58 class organizer, and she has taken over as the class secretary. Would also like to point out that the FHS class of 1958 has 4 members in the Fitchburg High School Hall of Fame: Mike Connery for track, Dave King for basketball, Walt Buzz Congram football, and of course Pete Stevens football. So at this time in the center of the field, we'd like to direct your attention and recognize the class of 1958. Let's have a hand for 58, folks.
That was the voice of public address announcer Chris Woods here at historic Crocker Field. It is senior day here for the Red Raiders of Fitchburg High School. I'm John Gugerty, joined of course tonight by Dan Bolak here on FATV. As you see here at just about midfield, we have the class of 1958 being honored as they get ready to celebrate their 65th class reunion this Saturday at the Fay Club. Many senior night festivities on tap for us tonight. But I believe, Dan, we will turn it back over to the public address announcer, the local voice of the Red Raiders, Mr. Chris Woods.
Now at this time, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to take a few moments to recognize our senior members of this year's football team. And it looks like we're going to go by their number. So number 1, Lucas Bolak. With him tonight, Amy Bolak and Dave Bolak. Next up, number 4, Shay Gagne. With him tonight, his mom, Kelly, and his dad, Bob Gagne. Stepmom, also Vera Gagne. Next up, number 5, Devani DeLeon. With him tonight, Veronica Colon and Dad Giovanni DeLeon. Next up is number 7, Niall Sim. With him tonight, his mom, Lita Chiv, grandfather, Molly Roth, and his dad, Julius Anang. Next up, number 45, actually number 11, Kyle Anang. I misread that last piece, I apologize. And his dad is Julius Anang. And next now, 45, Ezekiel Acevedo. With him tonight, Kiara Valcasel and his dad, Abraham Acevedo. Next up, number 53, Melvin Del Leon. With him tonight, stepdad Odani Funez and mom Alida Cabrera. Next, number 62, Carlos Perez. With him tonight, his mom, Sandra Perez. Next, number 66, Angel Salome. With him tonight, assistant coach Mark Merchant. And our last senior to be honored tonight for the football team, number 71, Jose Casillas Jr. And with him tonight, his father, Jose Casillas Sr., and his mom, Luz Casillas. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a hand here for this year's seniors on the Fitchburg High School football team. Congratulations to the players and to their parents.
Once again, the seniors being honored here at historic Crocker Field as we get ready for Red Raider football on FATV. Fitchburg taking on the Highlanders of Doherty tonight. A very tough matchup for the Red Raiders on their final regular season home game of the 2023 season.
Yeah, it's not quite like last week was. Doherty last year, they struggled a little bit. They were 3-8. They were near the bottom of Division 2. This year in Division 3, they have really found their form. They've been putting it together. 6-1 they come into tonight's contest. Their only loss, 14-8 to a very solid Grafton Gator squad. With that, 6 other victories that beat Algonquin 34-0, a close one over Leominster week 2, 28-27, 41-6 over Grand Dunstable, 27-7 over Tantascwa, then the Grafton game. And then the last 2 weeks they've been in their inter-high schedule. They took down Worcester South, who broke their 40-plus game inter-high winning streak last year. Beat them 25-22 on a 33-yard field goal late. And then last Friday night, they took on the Polar Bears of Worcester North. 35-0 Doherty took the victory in that one. Josh Romeo, a pair of touchdown passes, ran for 2 scores. Malachi Burke had a touchdown catch and a rushing score. Juan Reynolds had a touchdown catch. Adrian Weber had 17 tackles. And the Polar Bears didn't cross midfield till 45 minutes into the game.
Not a recipe for success for Worcester North. Doherty went on to win that game 35-0. Of course, for Fitchburg, you saw it last week here on FATV. The Red Raiders' last contest was a 19-12 loss to Neshoba that actually started out very well for Fitchburg, Dan. They led that game 12-0, and then Neshoba came right on back.
Indeed, you saw Luke Bolak, one of the 9 seniors honored tonight here on Senior Day. He had a 3-yard rushing touchdown to open the score, and then a 31-yard touchdown pass he threw to Richard Solomon. But in the second half, Neshoba dominated time of possession and holding on to the football. The Red Raiders totaled just 4 minutes and 48 seconds of possession in the entire second half out of 24 minutes. That is not a very significant chunk, and they only ran 10 plays, while Neshoba ran over 35 in that second half.
A very tough loss for Fitchburg and a very tough opponent tonight. But hey, any given Friday, you never know. It's a beautiful night here at Crocker Field. Maybe there's a little bit of magic in the air. We will find out. For now, Dan and I will step aside. We'll turn it back over to Chris Woods for the national anthem and some other moments here on Senior Night at historic Crocker Field, right here on FATV. Well, you see, folks, you have a plan and you have a script and you write down everything on paper and you're like, okay, we're going to do this, then we're going to do this, then we're going to do this, then we're going to do this. And sometimes you don't account for the fact that Doherty takes longer than you'd expect to warm up, so they just go into the locker room. And you're going to get Dan and I to talk about football for a few more minutes before we turn it over to Chris Woods. There are worse fates in life, Mr. Bolak, I would hope.
I would hope so too. Doherty, he arrived a little past 6 o'clock. They actually ended up walking around River Street to get to Crocker Field. They didn't get the memo that the road's closed? They did not. But,
this is the kind of stuff that builds an upset, You make the favorite team walk a little bit more. It's hot, it's humid, weird stuff happens.
You never quite know with matchups like this. So these two teams did play last year. As far as I know, only time they've played in the last 20 years. And that was a 16-7 victory for the Red Raiders in week number 8. Gave them 2 wins in 3 games for the Raiders. Luke Bolak and Devani DeLeon, both seniors, honored tonight. They had touchdowns on the ground for the Red Raiders. Doherty had someone score too. They weren't interested in sharing who scored, but they had someone.
It was someone. It was a guy.
Yep. And Doherty, as we said, they really turned it around last year. They were 3-8. Their only wins coming against Worcester North, against Westboro, who was 1-10 last year, but Westboro also turned it around 6-1 this year as well. And their Thanksgiving rival, the Burncoat Patriots.
Doherty will still face Burncoat on Thanksgiving, Thursday, November the 23rd, a 10 a.m. kickoff there in Worcester. Fitchburg, as you folks may or may not have heard, it's kind of a big deal. Will not be playing on Thanksgiving this year. We have a prior engagement the night before in Boston. Might have heard of it. Kind of a big deal. We're a little bit excited.
Yes, we're very excited.
Just a little bit.
Yep. Taking on Leominster from historic Fenway Park.
We're not calling it historic Fenway Park.
Okay. It's older than this one.
That's very funny, though. We might do it once.
They get their one.
Okay. Every century-old park gets one, I guess. Yeah. I don't think that sets a good precedent, but I digress, as a more famous announcer than me would say. Doherty, as you can see, in the white jerseys, they have gold helmets, red numbers trimmed in gold, and red pants. Red Raiders going in the brick and pewter tonight.
And Doherty, coached by one of the most senior coaches in Central Mass, Sean Mulcahy, the second longest serving coach currently active in Central Mass, behind Ken LaChapelle, who coaches the Northbridge Rams, who we actually covered here on FATV 364 days ago. Week 8 of the football season is the perfect time to get those historic coaches down here to Fitchburg.
That's right.
To play a game against a Fitchburg team.
Absolutely. Next year we'll get the third longest serving head coach in Central Mass.
I don't know who it is off the top of my head, though.
We'll find out next year when they're here on historic Crocker Field for senior night, obviously. The captains are heading to midfield for the coin toss now. Fitchburg's captains from left to right. Looks like we have Jose Casillas Jr., Luke Bolak, Devani DeLeon, and I believe that is Melvin DeLeon. Yes, it is, on the far right. You may have noticed those boys are all seniors. How about that?
Yep. They've been doing different captains every week. As for Doherty, they've got 6 captains.
They have a whole host of numbers. And it will be members of the class of 1958 there, again celebrating their 65th high school reunion. The official celebration this Saturday at the Fay Club.
Tossing the coin today is Mr. Pete Stevens.
And Pete Stevens will be tossing the coin.
Being on the school committee has its privileges.
being in the Hall of Fame as well.
That's true.
Doherty has won the toss and elected to defer their option to the second half. Fitchburg will receive from this end zone. Gentlemen, have a great game.
So as you just heard, we will see the Red Raider offense first, but before we get to football, we will hand it back over to public address announcer Chris Woods for the national anthem and some other business as well. It's Red Raider football on senior night here on FATV.
Have all worked hard to prepare for tonight's game, so please show your appreciation by demonstrating good sportsmanship and respect for all attendants at all times. Doherty Memorial is coached by Sean Mulcahy, and of course Fitchburg by Paul DiGeronimo. Tonight's game officials are Sean Burke, referee, Bill LaRoche, umpire, Tommy Dupre Esteem, back judge, Dan Furman, line judge, Dale Diamantopoulos, field judge, and Dave LeBlanc will be on the clock. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like you to please rise, remove your caps. Before we play the national anthem, we have one more announcement to make. This week, the Fitchburg High School community experienced the sudden and tragic loss of a beloved educator, Miss Nadia Ledger, who taught English language arts in grades 9 and 10. Ms. Ledger will be remembered for her love of Fitchburg High School as a teacher, mentor, and friend to so many. We ask now that you please, if you have not already, rise and remove your hats as we honor the life of a true educator, Miss Nadia Ledger, with a moment of silence. Thank you very much. Now we'd like to switch over to the Fitchburg High School Marching Band for tonight's rendition of the national anthem.
Fitchburg High School Red Raider football here on FATV. I'm John Doherty, joined of course by Dan Bolak. That was the Fitchburg High School Marching Band performing the national anthem. The band will have their senior members recognized at halftime. We'll also be recognizing the senior cheerleaders at the end of the first quarter. And we already saw the pregame ceremonies with the senior football players. Dan, even if the results on the field don't always go the way Fitchburg wants, there's something special about senior night, no matter how good or bad the team's performing.
Absolutely. You know, for senior night, it's a tribute to all of the seniors who have worked so hard over the last few years, continuing to come to practice day in and day out, and their efforts deserve to be celebrated.
Absolutely. And for a lot of these kids, you know, there are some who will go on to play at the collegiate level, but there are some for whom this is the end. This is the last home scheduled regular season. You know, there will be more games this year, but this is the last scheduled home game. This is the chance for them to be honored for all the work that they've done as part of their scholastic football career.
Indeed. Matthew Burke set to kick off for the Doherty Highlanders. Run it down and kick it away. It'll be picked up at the 20-yard line, bobbled a little bit by Aiden Baez. He gets the 25, shakes off a man, 30, 35, still on his feet. 2, 3, 4 Highlanders trying to shake him down. proving very tough to tackle. He gets all the way to the 43-yard line.
I think the tackler first touched Baez at about the 35, but Baez kept spinning. He was dancing with the Highlander for a moment there, and then the whole pile of Red Raiders came in from behind. Aiden Baez was basically shoved forward for another 5 yards. Take a look at this.
So many times we've seen the kick returner wrapped up by the first tackler to meet him, the first player on the opposition to meet him, and that was first met at the 25, but Baez shook him off. First one to really wrap him was the 35, and even then Baez still got officially 7 more yards. Give him to the 42, 1st and 10. Devani DeLeon breaking through a couple different players, and he gets across the 45-yard line. Give him at least half the yards he needs for another first.
A lot of the attention in the Fitchburg backfield goes to Luke Bolak, Dan, but Devani DeLeon, especially last week, and we see it here tonight, has really contributed with that just simple little fullback dive right up the gut. There's nothing fancy to it, but if the offensive line gets a break, they get a good block right off the jump. DeLeon can find the hole and get some yardage out of it.
Carlos Turner coming up with the tackle for the Highlanders. 2nd and 4. Bolak will take it to the left side. Meets first contact pretty quickly and is going to be taken down for just a gain of 1 yard. Bring him to the 49-yard line.
Got to think the Red Raiders want to take advantage of this good field position that they got after the opening kickoff. Doherty with a very powerful offense. You figure they're going to put some points on the board. Fitchburg would like to get ahead of them before they do.
3rd down and 3 for the Red Raiders as they come back to the line. 1 receiver on either side in the I formation. Zacchaeus Collins, the freshman, takes the snap, hands it off to DeLeon, and tries to trust his line to truck forward. It will be pretty close for a 1st down. Near side official thinks he's got it.
Looking close here.
Willing to signal to stop the clock. They'll put it right down, nose the football at the 48.
The referee signals 1st down.
Sean Burke satisfied with what he's seen. He says move the chains, and indeed they will. 1st down for the Red Raiders.
48, 1st and 10.
3rd down, about 3 or 4 yards, but you give it to your fullback, he plunges forward. It's a credit to DeLeon, it's a credit to that line for the Red Raiders. Most importantly, it moves the chains.
It took Worcester North 45 minutes to cross midfield last week against Doherty. It takes the Raiders less than 2 to do the same feat. 1st and 10, they go to DeLeon, but he's met immediately. They blast through the line, and multiple Highlanders there to meet him for a loss of 1.
Bryce Miller was there, Patrick Dowd was there. Fitchburg went to that fullback dive on their first down, and you see right there, Dowd got the initial contact, Miller drove DeLeon down. Carlos Turner was in there as well. Doherty had a sense that that one was coming, and they were right.
2nd and 11, 9:40 to go. 1st quarter, no score. 1st drive of the game. Collins under center. Get the snap, pitch it out to Bolak on the right side. He sees a lot of gold helmets there. That's never a good sign. And he's not able to find any opening. That's a huge loss on 2nd down. Back into Red Raider territory behind the 45-yard line.
Dan, one of the things I pointed out last week about Fitchburg was when they lined up in that strong I formation with the fullback set off to one side, the play call was almost always a pitch to that side. This time they run it out of the conventional I formation, try to deceive it just a little bit more, but Doherty was able to break through the left edge. There was nothing Bolak could do. He wound up losing about 5-6 yards. It brings up 3rd down, and it's at 17.
3rd and 17. Got to get to the 38-yard line of Doherty for a 1st down. Send a couple tight ends to the right side. Collins looking to throw. If he can find the time, he steps up, but he's not going to be able to get a pass off, and he is sacked by Patrick Dowd.
Fitchburg had 2 receivers in basically the same spot of the field. Devani DeLeon and Luis Santos were both basically set up on the far side at the 45-yard line. You see Collins looks for them. He might have taken a shot downfield, but there was nobody there. It was just 2 guys who ran the same flat.
Raiders forced to punt after that. It'll be picked up on the far side. Doherty running it back past midfield, still on his feet. Cannot be stopped. That's Javon Mays, who's going to run it back for a touchdown.
That's Javon Mays.
Just as the Raiders are starting to gain a little momentum, it goes downhill fast, and the Highlanders strike first with 8:04 to go in the 1st quarter.
Dan, I did say Doherty was going to put some points on the board. I didn't think they would do it literally the first time they touched the ball. See, Mays just gets great blocking on the return, makes a couple of Raiders miss, and then once he's into the open field, there's no one gonna catch him. He can run all the way back out to River Street if he wants.
It's a 65-yard punt return touchdown for Javon Mays. The senior wide receiver puts his Islanders on the board. Matthew Burke out to attempt the extra point. He's got 18 on the season. Raiders did block an extra point last week. Kick is up, and kick is through. 7-0 to the Highlanders with 8:04 to go in the first.
7-0 Doherty here in the first quarter.
You mentioned Dan Doherty picked up 2 consecutive wins over Worcester opponents after suffering that loss to Grafton. They looked very good in the 35-0 win over Worcester North, and if the punt return unit has anything to say about it, they look pretty good tonight here at Crocker Field.
Think back to that West Boylston game where the first time West Boylston touched the football was on the opening kickoff, and they brought it all the way back to the end zone. And Doherty will add their name to the list of teams that have done that this year. I think it's only those 2, but...
Hey, yeah, 2's a list. You can have a list with 2 entries on it.
I hope it's just those 2. I'm not just repressing other bad memories.
That's entirely possible.
So we'll take a little more time before we see what Doherty has to offer on offense. Matthew Burke ready to kick it off. Eden Baez and Luke Bolak are back to receive. It's going to be Baez taking it at the 20-yard line. Going to go up the middle, look for an escort this time. First contact, shakes off that, and still keeps going past the 40 again. Well, the kick returning game's working out pretty well for Eden Baez.
Once again, the initial hit, even after he dodges a couple tackles, once he gets hit, he's not going straight down. See, Baez makes a couple of guys miss. Right there, he gets out of an arm tackle, and he's hit at about the 35-yard line, but he's not brought down until he shoves himself forward to the 42.
Raiders will start this drive from the same spot they started the last drive.
All right, Dan, I'm not going to say it's a fireable offense because I feel like that would be extreme here. If this first down play is a fullback dive to Devani DeLeon, I'm going to scream.
Rivera will go in motion from the far to the near. And it's going to be play action. Collins rolling out to the left side. You don't have to scream on that, as Collins going to try to tuck and keep it himself. It's going to be wrapped up at the 41 for a loss of a yard. He'd already tucked there, so I'm not giving a sack.
He wanted to throw downfield, but he had made the decision to try to scramble and get something himself. Good coverage by the Highlanders. Then they were able to contain the quarterback and wrap him up for a loss.
Raiders did try to diversify a little bit. Collins wanted to throw, but he knew there was just nobody down there. And then you see 3-4 different gold helmets swarming him at the 41-yard line. It's a loss of a yard. That first drive, by the way, 6 plays for no yards because they got the first down and then they lost them all.
Well, that's you don't want that.
A little rougher when you lose them all and there's no penalties either.
Yeah.
2nd and 11 out of the I formation. 1 receiver on either side. It's going to be Bolak on the handoff. You put on the speed burst, go up the middle, and take advantage of the fact that he landed on a Highlander in Adrian Weber to lunge forward and get a couple extra yards.
Hey, you know, as long as your knee doesn't touch the turf, there's no rule that says you can't have it touch a guy's midsection.
Gain of 4 for Bolak. 3rd and 7 coming. I formation again with 1 receiver on either side, 1 tight end. Collins wants to pass, but he's battling. I mean, immediately the pressure comes in from Adrian Weber, the senior. 5'10", 185, and Collins never had a chance to get that ball off.
I couldn't tell if the Raiders were trying to set up a screen to the left side or if he just blew through the block. But Adrian Weber was there. James Gore supplying pressure as well. Fitchburg goes 3 and out, and they have to kick it away again.
We'll get that down. Javon Mays this time calls for the fair catch, takes it at the 30-yard line. A little bit of contact afterwards, but that comes from the Raiders trying to put on the brakes. And no official going to throw their yellow handkerchief on the field, saying that it was completely accidental. So
yes,
From the 30-yard line is where Doherty will start their first proper drive of the contest with 6:19 to go in the first.
That is the official story, and it's what we're going with. It was completely accidental that Aiden Baez ran very, very close to Javon Mays, came to a full and complete stop, and then shoved him. Completely accidental. Nothing against the rules there, no siree bop.
First time today we'll see Josh Romeo, the junior quarterback for Doherty, for 1,300 passing yards this year. First down, he throws out to Mays. It's complete there, and then 2-3 Raiders will wrestle him out of bounds.
We saw Romeo warming up before the game, Dan. He was hitting passes 40, 50 yards in the air, so he's got a pretty strong arm on him if the Highlanders want to go downfield in a hurry.
To the 39. Thought he downed it at the 30, but they marked it at the 33. So a 6-yard gain on first down for Doherty. One in the backfield. It'll be a handoff. Malachi Burke finds some space on the right side to run. Gets the second level, and he's taken down past the 45-yard line. That'll be a first down for Doherty.
Malachi Burke, one of the seniors for Doherty, listed at 5'10", 180, had 6 rushing touchdowns already this year. Even 420 rushing yards coming into the game, which some folks will appreciate.
First and 10 for Doherty. 4 receivers, in fact. One will move from near side to far. Romeo with a high snap. Able to take it. Gagne is able to deck him, and the ball goes flying out.
Ruling on the field is the quarterback's hand was moving forward. We have an incomplete pass. It's third down. Second down.
The ruling on the field will rule that's an incomplete pass.
Trying to figure out how that makes sense given that the ball went backward.
You see Shea Gagne, the senior, being honored today. That was
I agree, absolutely, that Romeo was throwing the ball. I would also like to point out for the record that the ball was thrown at the 40 and went out of bounds at the 37.
Throw over the middle is going to be caught. Past midfield. Raiders will wrestle him back. Isaiah Burchett with his 28th reception of the season. Pull that in for some yards.
Highlanders moving quickly back up to the line here. You see Romeo plenty of time in the pocket, goes through his progression, finds the open man. Doesn't get the whole first down, but he does make it a very manageable 3rd and 3.
Goes from the Doherty 47 to the Fitchburg 47. That throw is going to be caught on the near side. And making his way past the 35-yard line before being tackled is Ryan Dennis. Dennis coming into today's game tied with Juan Reynolds for most receiving yards on the day. Identical lines of 15 catches for 356 yards and 5 touchdowns. We'll see with that one, Dennis will pop ahead.
Doherty just pushing the pedal to the metal right now. They feel that they've got the Fitchburg defense on the back foot, and they want to press that advantage.
To the 32-yard line, Romeo, right side. Gonna throw, intercepted by Niall Sim! Sim at the 40 to the 45-yard line. And there's what may happen when you try to push the tempo. You might get burnt.
The Fitchburg defensive backs, Dan, have been very aggressive on this drive. On that last first down play, I saw a corner try to jump the route and couldn't get it. This time, Niall Sim times it perfectly. We mentioned Romeo has a strong arm, but he was not able to deliver that out to Ryan Dennis. Sim was able to get in front of it and pick the ball off. It's a huge swing in momentum for Fitchburg. Gives them the ball back at their own 44-yard line.
Raiders have had great field position to start all of their drives. 4:03 to go in the first quarter of play. 7-0 Doherty. 65-yard kick return, the only score we've had thus far. Bolak will take it to the right side. Use Devani DeLeon as a blocker. Takes out one player, but ultimately just too many Highlanders to try to evade. Big gain of about 2 yards on first down.
And with these tosses out to the edge, Dan, you're trying to turn the corner. You're trying to get out there fast faster than Doherty can contain you, but the Highlanders do a great job of keeping Bolak hemmed in, forcing him to move laterally and then try to cut back and upfield where the rest of the defense can swarm on top of him. It's tremendous work, particularly by Derek Anson, number 22, just setting that edge, keeping it, not letting Bolak get around him.
This time, DeLeon will try to burst through the middle, stays upright after he bounces off of several Highlanders. And he's going to earn a first down past the 45-yard line of Doherty.
On the first play of the last drive, Dan, I said it was almost a fireable offense if the first down call was the fullback dive to DeLeon, but that's not because it's a bad play. It's just because Doherty saw it coming. This time, the Highlanders had seen a bunch of other plays from Fitchburg. They had seen the tosses. They had seen the play actions. They weren't expecting the fullback dive, and that's when it's most effective.
Gain of 10 for Devani DeLeon. First down for the Raiders. Bolak trying to go up the middle. Looked like he was starting to blow a tire as he was going over the 45-yard line. Ends up diving forward for a gain of 1.
Xavier Powers and Derek Ansa in on the hit for the Highlanders.
Gain of about a yard, 2nd and 9.
There are some teams, Dan, that are so big and strong and dominant that even if you know what they're going to do on first down, it doesn't matter. Half the time you can't stop it anyway. I don't think it's a controversial statement to say that Fitchburg is not one of those teams. So they need to keep Doherty guessing.
43 yards from goal, the Red Raiders. He pitched to Bolak. He's going to try to get to that left flank. Runs into one of his own blockers trying to push him forward and haul. Ends up gaining 2 yards in the grand scheme of things to the 42-yard line. Give him just 1 yard, actually, if I can count right.
This was a very interesting play call, Dan. The first couple of times, rather, we've seen Fitchburg go with these toss plays. They've done it where Bolak is moving parallel to the line of scrimmage at the snap, and he takes the snap, he takes the pitch very deep in the backfield. This time he ran forward about 2-3 yards before taking the pitch, and then basically took a hard left turn. Just try to mix it up that way, create the impression that you're going up the gut, and then go around the edge. Didn't work, but it was a nice idea.
First charge, timeout of the half, Fitchburg.
Red Raiders are going to call their first timeout with 1:35 to go in the first quarter of play. 7-0, the visitors from Worcester in front.
While we have a moment here, we want to thank the underwriters who help make this and every remote production possible here on Fitchburg Access Television.
The 143rd meeting of Fitchburg Leominster is going to take place Wednesday, November 22nd.
Fitchburg Access Television's remote productions for the 2023 sports season are brought to you in part by Rollstone Bank and Trust, Acme Carpet One, Leominster Credit Union, the Sentinel Enterprise, and Minuteman Press.
Our thanks to those companies for all of the underwriting support they provide. If you would like to provide support to FATV, go to fatv.org. Thank you again.
It's always a privilege to have your business's name read by Ann Bisbee.
That's right. It's a privilege very few have. It used to be read by us. Then we were like, no, let's improve this. Let's make it better.
Better it has been made. 3rd down and 8 to go for the Red Raiders. They're 42 yards from goal.
If Fitchburg gets something positive here, I wouldn't be surprised to see them go for it on 4th.
Willie Bolak on the pitch, left side. Getting around one defender, second one will wrap him up. Tackle made there by Derek Ansa, the senior.
Derek Ansa, the 22 maker.
That's going to make it pretty manageable inside the 40-yard line.
It's 4th and about 3.
I was gonna say, Dan, if you get nothing there, then it's 4th and 8 from the opponent's 42. I think it's right to kick it deep, try to pin Doherty deep in their own territory. But now 4th and 2 or 3 from the 36. You're down 1, you're massive underdogs. Go for it.
And whistles on the snap.
Prior to the snap, second charge, timeout of the half, Fitchburg.
The Raiders called a timeout right at the snap. There was something they really did not like.
I think there was something that the coaches on the sidelines didn't like. That was not a case of the offense comes to the line and doesn't like what they see and decide to call timeout. That was Paul DiGeronimo from the sideline saying, actually, you know what, let's not. It looked like it looked like the play was a handoff to DeLeon running to the left, and I thought it was going to be pretty effective, but we take a look at it again here. You see big number 58 for Doherty. Adrian Weber coming from the right side, defensive right side. He's pretty much unblocked. So even that's probably why Fitchburg called timeout. And I want to thank Nate Glennie, our director in the truck, for pointing that out to us. He was coming in unblocked, and they saw that from the sideline, which is probably why Fitchburg called the timeout.
Adrian Weber, 30 tackles. He had 17 last week against North, so he's been really coming on strong these last couple of weeks, and he's already looked quite dangerous in this contest. If there's someone you want to make sure is blocked on the line, it's got to be the man. And you can see right there, nearly taking down DeLeon, but that's going to push him back far enough. He's not going to be able to recover. And even with the timeout, the Red Raiders can't adjust for that, and it's a turnover on downs.
I am not a football coach. Anytime I make any serious criticism, I feel the need to preface the statement with, I am not a football coach. I do not understand why, after calling timeout, but showing the defense that your 4th and 2 play is a fullback dive to the left, you then come back out and run a fullback dive to the left. I don't understand why they didn't call a different play there.
Must have felt that what they had was sound, but just the positioning of the players and the blocking was not. First down, it's a handoff. Malachi Burke to the left side, bursts into the second level and then some. And just like that, he's already into Red Raider territory, but we have our first yellow handkerchief of the night.
Back near the line of scrimmage, this one's probably coming back.
Holding, offense number 52, 10-yard penalty. It's first down.
Bryce Miller guilty of holding. Will instead mark Doherty back -10.
Called his name a number of times already tonight on the defensive side of the ball, but he's also the starting center for the Highlanders. That time he was guilty of the hold.
That came behind the line of scrimmage, so they'll mark all 10 of those off. Remember that penalty enforcement is now just like it is in college and the NFL. If it's behind the line of scrimmage, it's 10 yards, not 10 from where the infraction happened. Now out to the right side on 1st and 20, Juan Reynolds. His first touch of the night. It's a little bit. Out to about the 35-yard line.
Tried that jet sweep with Reynolds coming from the near slot in motion.
This is the end of the first quarter.
But Fitchburg doing a good job, able to hold the edge. That's Devani DeLeon, first one to bring him down. And as we reach the end of the first quarter, we will once again recognize the senior cheerleaders here supporting Fitchburg High School on senior night at historic Crocker Field.
I have a list of names up here. I'm going to start reading them off, so I hope you're all with us tonight, ladies. First to be recognized is Olivia Mahone. Next up, Bella Crone. Macy Kupfer. Jer Rosado. Riley Higgins. And Anna Conadalo. And let's not forget our 2 mascots, Journey Young and Denelson Cifuentes, both our Red Raiders.
Second quarter underway here from historic Crocker Field. First play of the quarter is a pass out to the far side. It is complete. Not much going on there. Flag comes in after the play. And Isaiah Burchett is without a helmet and very upset. I think that might have something to do with the flag, Dan.
Those actions sometimes are related to each other. And Burchett, rendered hatless, does not help matters.
I don't think that might not count as a guy's hat falling off. If a guy's hat gets pulled off, that doesn't count. We've had that running joke all season, but that one doesn't count for it, does it?
I don't think so. It didn't come off naturally. Our referee Sean Burke gets the call.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense number 15, 15-yard penalty, the down counts, it's third down.
Burchett is the one that's guilty in the grand scheme of things, which is interesting.
Burchett, guilty of a personal foul, winds up without his helmet. And oh, by the way, let's take a look at the end of this play. Burchett is, brought down, tackled. He might be upset about that hit in the back, but I don't think the whistle had blown. He's hit again by another guy who was coming in as he was going down. I suppose I can understand why he would be upset. Burchett removed his own helmet, I think. Maybe it got knocked loose by one of those hits, but then he removes his own helmet. Anyway, after the penalty, it's 3rd and 31. The pass over the middle is incomplete. It was intended for Juan Reynolds. Reynolds had the carry on 1st down. That time Romeo was trying to find him on 3rd and 31. It's a disastrous drive for Doherty.
Went backwards fast on that one, and they put themselves in a bit of a hole. And again, 4th and Leicester, or Spencer.
Is that Romeo lined up as the punter, Dan?
Yes.
It's a very high snap and a tremendous kick. My goodness. So apparently Josh Romeo's just a quarterback as a side gig or something. This goes all the way back to the Fitchburg 30-yard line.
Well, that will give the Red Raiders their worst field position of the night. That's a 50-yard punt, by the way.
That, yeah.
And that went at least 40 in the air.
It was a very good kick.
For over 100 years, school directors and staff have cared as homes have committed themselves to providing caring and professional service to the families in our community.
So we'll see the Fitchburg offense back out on the field, led by their freshman quarterback, Zacchaeus Collins. 1st and 10 for them at their own 30-yard line. They trail Doherty 7-0. I formation. De Leon's the fullback, Bolak the tail. Motion man to the near side is Rivera. It's a handoff to De Leon, trying to run to that left side. Nothing doing initially, tries to reverse field, and he is wrapped up. Big hit leveled, delivered there. James Lagorce was the one who finally brought De Leon down. Take a look at this one, Dan.
Trying to get around to the near side. You see the one defender, Ansa. He's able to avoid him, but there's just so many more gold helmets out on the flank waiting for him. They'll give him forward progress to the 27. It's a loss of 3 yards.
2nd and long for Fitchburg. They really have struggled with these situations where you think they have to go to the air. They just haven't been able to stretch out defenses and make them respect the pass. They'll bring in Shea Gagne. Giovanni De Leon will head to the sidelines. Gagne checks in as the fullback. Handoff goes to Bolak, counter to the right side. Looked like he was getting something, but as he got back to the line of scrimmage, it just all fell apart for him.
Just a slight gain on 2nd down as Ansa gets in the thick of things again. The senior listed as a running back. I should note the roster they gave us has exclusively offensive positions.
It also doesn't have all their players on it, so that's nice. We didn't know until we talked with a coach if Prince Brooks even exists, because he has stats, but he's not on the roster. He could be a fake person for all we know.
2 of the names were backwards, too.
Of course. 3rd down, 13 for Fitchburg. They need to get out to their own 40 for a 1st down. Collins, play action fake, rolling to his right, going to keep it himself. He's whacked out of bounds at the original line of scrimmage. Was a clean hit, but that doesn't mean it wasn't a vicious one. Collins will head to the sideline. Take another look at this one. He's under pressure immediately.
Can't even think about trying to throw this football. He's running the whole way as a running back, and you can see Ansa coming in there and just laying the boom. Give him to the 31-yard line, a 4-yard gain, but the Raiders have to punt.
Low end-over-end kick, bounces at the 45, picked up at about the 40, and driven down at about the 45-yard line after a return of, let's call it the 47. It's a return of 7 for Isaiah Burchett. And would you believe it, Dan? Isaiah Burchett is prominently involved in a play, and then there's a flag down on the field. I'm not saying those two facts are related, I'm just stating them in consecutive order and moving on.
The run back came to the 47, and they're going to walk this off against Fitchburg this time.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 4, Fitchburg, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Shea Gagne guilty of unsportsmanlike conduct, apparently. Referee Matt Burke will head to the sideline, tell Paul DiGeronimo exactly what it is that Mr. Gagne did. Meanwhile, Doherty is gifted excellent field position inside Fitchburg's 40, first and 10 at the 37, but I think they're backing up 5 yards. We got whistles at the snap.
False start, offense number 77, 5-yard penalty, it's first down.
Quincy Kaiser, the senior tackle, guilty of the infraction, so that'll make it first and 15 for the Highlanders. Doherty has been playing not quite with one hand tied behind their back, Dan, but turnovers and penalties have just really stymied them. They look dominant, quite frankly, but they only lead by 7 as we approach the halfway point in the second quarter. First down handoff goes to Malachi Burke. Plunges through the line, gets across the original line of scrimmage. It'll be second and 9 for him. But again, Dan, you get 6 yards on a carry on first down. It should be great. Instead, it's second and 8.
It could be better. Just all those penalties stacking up as they do. Thus far, Doherty has run 10 plays for 45 yards. It's not bad, but I imagine that's probably going to adjust back to the mean soon enough.
Burke gets the carry again on second down. Very similar result to the first down run. Gain of about 6 running to the left. And we get a timeout called by Fitchburg. The Red Raiders have burned all 3 of their timeouts for the first half.
Final charge, timeout of the half, Fitchburg.
All right, Fitchburg's going to take timeout, catch their breath. We have seen, Dan, that Doherty likes to be aggressive when they've got the momentum. They want to keep it moving. Fitchburg's taking their last time out here, try to slow the Highlanders down a little bit.
This year's seniors on the day as well.
With the game state as it is, 7-0, with 7:33 to go in the second quarter, the Raiders are probably thinking, you know, if we get a stop on third down, it's going to be 4-down territory, I would imagine. But you get a stop, turn the ball over, maybe get back the momentum. Get the ball back, decent enough field position, keep it at 7-0. This is a good chance here to take advantage.
It's a chance to stop Doherty as they've done before. Doherty's drives have ended with an interception and a punt on 4th and 31, but now they have 3rd down and 4. Romeo back to pass to the near side right is complete. Big opening in front of him, pushed out of bounds inside the 10-yard line. That's Isaiah Burchett with the catch. There is a flag on the play, but it is very far away from the football. If this is on Burchett, I would be very surprised. He didn't do anything wrong.
Actually quite curious to see what this flag is. It looked like it came pretty late.
Ineligible player downfield, offense number 53, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Diego Galvez was a little bit further downfield than you're allowed to be. That negates a huge gain on 3rd down. It was going to be 1st and goal inside the 10. Let's keep an eye on Galvez. See right there, right in the middle of your screen, the center Galvez is at about the 40-yard line. That's a good 2-3 yards downfield, Dan, and that is further than you're allowed to get if you're an ineligible receiver, as offensive linemen are 98.2% of the time.
If he's unmarked, standing there at the 30-yard line and in a position that makes it look like maybe he can go and get a pass, but he cannot get a pass. And thus ineligible downfield. If that throws off the defense enough, then they've benefited from that illegal action. Thus the penalty of 5 yards must be assessed.
First charge timeout of the half, Doherty.
Doherty takes their first timeout of the second quarter, of the first half as well. Dan, is it me, or has the last, say, 75 seconds of football taken roughly 2 years?
had 3 penalties, 2 timeouts since Doherty got the football. A whole lot of things happening.
So you're saying it's not me?
What's happening? I don't think so.
I just need a sanity check every now and then. Am I perceiving the game correctly? Is this joke too controversial? Am I actually going to get myself canceled? Very good sounding board in that regard. It does mean that you have to put up with the worst of my jokes, but you haven't told me to shut up yet.
And for Doherty in this game, it's a pretty important game for their playoff hopes. They're coming into today 11th in the power ratings in Division 3. We'll talk about that a little more later on, but this is a team that is playing for a playoff spot.
They need 9 yards here. They'll go handoff to the right side on 3rd down, trying to make it happen with Burke. He gets back to the 35, but not much further than that. Fitchburg, all in all, Dan, has been pretty strong against the run game of Doherty. They stand up there, hold the Highlanders back. Now 4th and 7 at the Fitchburg 35.
Now that we've learned Romeo is their punter, that's something we have to be very aware of.
Doherty comes out with 5 wide receivers, Romeo in the shotgun. One wonders if they have a pooch punt in their playbook. But Romeo will go back to pass. He's under pressure. Gagner's there. Got to get rid of it. Pass is complete on the far side, but it's short of the line to gain. Wrapped up by a whole fleet of Raiders. It's a turnover on downs.
Pass is complete, but it's
Fitchburg's defense holds strong.
I just want to double check this spot. So it looks like they gave him to the 28.
They did. What?
Officials timeout on the field for a measurement.
They gave him to the 28-yard line, and
The catch looked like it was made at maybe the 29. Take a look at it again here. Of course, from our angle, it's going to be difficult to tell. Maybe you could call that the 28. It looked ridiculously short from the press box, but I am a fallible man. I was wrong. 1st down, Doherty.
It's 1st and 10.
yeah, as it goes, who had that catch, by the way?
Ball at the 28-yard line.
We just saw a replay of it and I didn't see.
Let's see if the stat system likes the team catch.
We'll take a look at it again. I believe that's Juan Reynolds, yes. And maybe you can give him the 28 there. Maybe. But it is a 1st down for Doherty. Burke going to the far side left. He's got great blocking this time. He's across the 15 to the 10-yard line. That's the biggest run of the day for Doherty. And it's another 1st down for the Highlanders.
That's the thing you've got to try to flush out of your head, too, after you think you've made the stop, but the measurement says, no, you have not. Now you've got to not think about that and just get on with the next play. That's really the time to strike for the team that gets that 1st down. Get a big chunk of yards there. Burke gets it to the 13-yard line for a gain of 15.
Doherty looking to get into the end zone again, extend their lead to 2 touchdowns. Handoff goes to Burke again. He's running backwards as he crosses the 10. And he's pushed down at about the 7-yard line after a gain of what looks like 6.
Burke blowing a tire a little bit after he got the ball. Might have stopped his momentum a little bit, but it does take a little bit of time to throw everybody off a little bit. You can see, yeah, just going backwards to go forwards.
Created a bit of a stutter step there, actually. Wasn't what he meant to do, but it worked.
Sometimes things don't quite go to plan, but you get a better success than you expect.
This time Burke takes it from the right side, running to the left. He's in. Touchdown, Doherty.
Touchdown on the left side.
Malachi Burke, the 6-yard touchdown run. Makes it a 2-score lead, 13-0 Highlanders, just under 5 minutes to play.
And the Raiders met him a few yards before the line, but just continuing to drive forward, using his strength to carry him across the line. Malachi Burke will have another touchdown to his account, his 7th of the season on the ground.
And now Matthew Burke will attempt the extra point.
Burke to attempt the extra point.
Snaps high, but the hold is down. extra point is up and through. So with 4:58 to play here in quarter number 2, Doherty leads Fitchburg 14-0. Dan, I really did think the Red Raiders had stopped Doherty short on that 4th down play. But after that, the Highlanders had all the momentum. They were able to get into the end zone pretty much unchallenged from there.
Yeah, that's the thing that can happen there. When the defense thinks they've succeeded, but you have been told you have failed, sometimes just getting back in that frame of mind is a little difficult. I also thought they'd have the stop, but now the Raiders, again, will have to flush that out and just get back to business. They trail 14-0 now, but looking how they've played offensively tonight, 18 plays, 19 yards. But even then, they've held Doherty just 87 yards of offense on 16 plays. And one of Doherty's touchdowns, the first one, was a kick return. They've done, I think, a little better than expected in holding back this Doherty offense.
It would be very good for Fitchburg if they want to have a chance of scoring the upset here. They really do need to put points on the board. But I bet you most folks did not think this would only be a 2-score game with 5 minutes left in the second quarter. Kickoff return this time is absolutely going nowhere. Wrapped up inside the 20-yard line was Aiden Baez. He had a couple of really good ones in the first quarter, but couldn't make anything happen there.
He had to run back to get that ball at the 13-yard line. Then he's trying to change direction around the 20-yard line. But from there, just too many Highlanders surrounding him. Very difficult to do that. On the last couple of run backs, just blasting forward like a freight train, ignoring the blockers, essentially. This time, though, taking acknowledgement of the blockers. He can't really do much to put the moves on, and taken down there at the 20 is what he has to settle for.
High formation, first down handoff goes to the fullback DeLeon, and he is wrapped up in the backfield. I believe the first man there was Adrian Weber. Called his name a number of times tonight. It's a loss of 1. It's second down and 11 for Fitchburg, as they're going in the wrong direction.
Now averaging under a yard play.
Fitchburg's had a couple of good runs, but they really can't sustain anything. Now they tried to set up a screen to the near side. It's incomplete, in and out of the hands of Luis Santos. Just try to set up that little screen pass to the receiver.
Just a quick throw out to that near side, just in and out of the hands. Santos can't really get it quickly enough. I noticed Niall Sim had gone to the sideline now to get some instructions. He might be taking the snap here on 3rd down.
It is indeed Niall Sim who will be going under center. DeLeon in the backfield. Sim straight drop pass to the right side is complete. He's got Santos.
Sim in as quarterback.
I believe that's the first completed pass of the night for the Raiders. It's not enough for a first down, however.
58 again on the tackle, Weber.
Well, second catch of the season for Luis Santos, first completion of the season for Niall Sim.
Sim had thrown 3 passes previous. But now Fitchburg, having gone 3 and out, they'll have to kick it away. Kick takes Burchett to the far sideline. Brings it back across midfield, actually inside the Fitchburg 40 before being brought down. Good return for the junior Isaiah Burchett. Gives Doherty a chance to extend the lead. It's worth noting that the Highlanders will also get the ball to begin quarter number 3. What had been a very close, competitive game, Dan, is now all of a sudden in danger of getting out of hand.
Starting to slip it a little bit away. This Doherty team, they know they have to win by at least 14 points, get the maximum points they can to minimize the damage that this game is going to do to their rating. Because Fitchburg is so many less points, if you will. Their rating is so much lower than Doherty's that even if Doherty wins by the maximum points, their rating will still go down. It's a poison pill game, and for Doherty, all they can do is try to minimize the damage, and by winning by 14 points, they can do that. We have a flag.
Some flags at the snap once again.
False start, offense number 7, 5-yard penalty, it's first down.
Malachi Burke, the running back, guilty of the false start here. You don't see that very often. Saw a little bit of a, yeah, that was my bad with the referee, Matt Burke.
Sean,
my apologies.
We know Matt Burke, but
just a little bit of a flinch by Malachi Burke.
there's a lot of Burkes today in this game.
There are a fair few. There's Malachi Burke, there's Sean Burke. Matt Burke is the kicker for Doherty, which is part of the reason. Romeo will pass on 1st and 15 to the near side. It's complete. Looks up with Jackson Head. Head got whacked by Ali Coheel. Saw Coheel again trying to jump the route on that quick out. That led to a pick earlier for Doherty.
Only a 2-yard gain, though, on the completion.
Highlanders are trying to hurry up, but they don't really know what they're doing. Ryan Dennis is looking to the sideline with his hands out like, where am I supposed to go? Now Romeo's calling signals, barking for Burke to get into the backfield. I would be surprised if the Highlanders get the snap off, but hey, they do. Romeo's pass is complete over the middle. He's got Reynolds, and Reynolds has got some open field in front of him. Cuts back across the 30, finally just into the arms of a half dozen Raiders before being driven out of bounds at about the 25-yard line. There was a lot of confusion there by Doherty, but at the end of the day, you've got Josh Romeo throwing to Juan Reynolds, and it all works out okay.
Half of it is trying to figure out, we got the right play going. Another part of it is, are we lined up in such a way that we're not going to get dinged for too many in the backfield? But ultimately, they get it all squared away well enough, and Reynolds is able to make moves to get to the 25-yard line and give his Highlanders a fresh set of downs in the 17-yard completion.
Doherty has 2 timeouts left as we cross 2 minutes to play here in the second quarter. Plenty of time for the Highlanders. Romeo, quick pass to the far side is complete. Gets out of 1 tackle, tries to get out of another, and finally spun down is Ryan Dennis. Sophomore came into the game with 15 catches, 356, and 5 touchdowns. Again, the exact same tally as Juan Reynolds. I think Reynolds has fairly significantly surpassed him thus far.
Let's have a look. Dennis 2 for 18, Reynolds 2 for 24.
Okay, so not significant.
It's close.
It's closer now.
Ball's at the 22-yard line.
Doherty is taking a lot of time off the clock. The snap on that last play occurred just after 2 minutes. The snap on the next one's not going to be until after 1:10. Islanders do have 2 timeouts, but they don't have all the time in the world. Now Romeo's under a lot of pressure. He finally just gets rid of it downfield. Pass is incomplete. I thought he was throwing it away, but Malachi Burke was right there. Burke had it fall into his lap, but he got whacked and couldn't hang on to the ball. It stops the clock with just under 58 seconds to play.
Third down.
Think about how much Josh Romeo has to backpedal here.
Think about how much holding we saw on that replay. Jomar Gonzalez had 2 big handfuls in the back of Shea Gagner's shirt, but there was no flag.
It's probably why Gagner couldn't come up with the sack there.
It might have had something to do with it.
Yeah, I was thinking, you know, what, as I see him throw it into the night sky, I thought that was going to be an incomplete pass until Burke nearly had it.
3rd down and 7. 58 seconds to play. A little bit of trickeration that gets to Reynolds on the reverse. He's got plenty of blockers in front of him. Across the 15, and Sherman suplex down at the 15-yard line. Very close to the line to gain. Stop the clock, move the chains. It will be a 1st down for Doherty. Just over 40 seconds to play here in the second quarter.
Second charge, timeout of the half, Doherty.
Gagner grabbed Reynolds from behind.
Makes it 1st and 10 now from the 15-yard line.
Was able to wrestle him down, but not before Juan Reynolds picked up the 1st down.
41 seconds to go in the first half for Fitchburg now on Doherty's 2nd time out. Because the question is, you're just trying to sustain this Doherty team. They're moving in fits and spurts, but haven't been getting explosive monster plays.
No. It's been, you know, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and if you just watch on an individual play-by-play level, it looks like Doherty is the vastly superior team, but then you look up at the scoreboard and it's like, okay, it's only 14-0. Fitchburg's kind of holding them back.
They've been hanging with them.
A stop here would go a long way.
I mean, go back
The
to
timeout was called at 44 seconds left in the second quarter. Can the game clock operator please set the game clock to 44 seconds, please.
They'll put about 3 more seconds back on the game clock. So 44 ticks left to play here in quarter number 2. A little bit of trouble here. Not every scoreboard in Massachusetts has the tenths of a second, so it's not 4.4 seconds, it's not 40 minutes, it's not 44 minutes. I swear we know which we're doing, folks. Gives us a chance to let you know that our next football telecast will probably be next Friday. We don't know for sure if the Raiders are going to have a home game. It might be next Saturday. It's going to be next weekend. How about that?
Well, we don't even know if it's going to be next Saturday or next Friday because we don't know when that's going to be announced. That's going to be announced during the weekend where the next game is going to be and when it's going to be.
1st and 10, pass to the end zone is caught just like that. Doherty's in. Javon Mays with the touchdown catch, and a flag comes in, a second flag, well after the play.
Mays, touchdown pass.
This has been a chippy, angry football game, and it is only becoming more so as Doherty may have extended themselves to a 3-score lead.
There are 2 fouls on the play, 1 by each team after the play. The result of the play is a touchdown that will stand. Personal foul offense, personal foul defense. There is no yardage penalty. We will do the try.
So personal fouls called against both sides, which means everyone gets a stern talking to and is told not to do whatever it is exactly they did again. I imagine that, though, for Sean Mulcahy, he will be telling Josh Romeo to deliver that perfect strike to Javon Mays over and over and over again. That was a beautifully thrown ball, Dan.
It was, and that executed as well as you could expect, really, for Doherty. Make it 20-0. Great throw over the middle, just has the poise. Finds his man Javon Mays in the end zone for the 2nd time tonight.
This time a low snap on the extra point attempt. Burke's kick is up, and it is good.
Kick is good.
Good job by the holder. I believe that's Connor Gentilucci doing the holding on the extra points. He's been busy tonight.
Freshman quarterback.
And of course, credit as well to Matthew Burke. 3 for 3 on extra points. He had 18 of them coming into the year. Now he's up to 21. Which, incidentally, is the same as Doherty's score. How about that?
Let's see if I can get this story in quickly. So, he's one of the players whose name was accidentally written backwards on the Doherty roster.
So he was Burke Matthew?
Yeah, so I had a friend, I was at Monty Tech grad, we had Skills USA trade school competition, and for many weird reasons that'll take way too long to get into, my sophomore year we sent our 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 6th place finishers to the district tournament. And our 6th place guy, we had to rush his name through so quickly that his name got written backwards on his thing. So instead of Matthew Burke, as you might expect, it would have been Burke Matthews.
Line drive kick taken in by Baez at about the 20-yard line. Good return again. He's across the 40 to the 45. Aiden Baez has been the offensive hero for Fitchburg tonight. Sets the Raiders up in pretty good field position. Of course, it is worth noting that there are 32 seconds left in the half. Fitchburg has no timeouts, and, well, they're Fitchburg. But hey, it could be worse.
I know one thing I would be telling Aiden Baez when it comes to these kick returners is don't mind the other team, just run. Run with the football and just run, because those run backs just look so much better when he's just churning his feet and moving.
Niall Sim remains in the quarterback. He's going to take a shot downfield. He's got Luke Bolak. Luke Bolak has got a touchdown. Raiders! Niall Sim to Luke Bolak, 55 yards, and Fitchburg is on the board.
They go to the senior quarterback, and he strikes just like that, finding Luke Bolak, who's been the quarterback for so long. And now Luke Bolak has a touchdown reception to his credit. And that caught everybody out.
They keep DeLeon in as the tailback. They send Bolak out wide, and he just runs a streak. Extra point is up, and it is good. Just barely tucks inside the right corner. 21-7. Fitchburg has made it a 2-score game. And we will hear from Mr. Touchdown. A great big cheer for Niall Sim and Luke Bolak hooking up on a 55-yard touchdown pass. Dan, that kind of explosive, big, quick strike offense has been missing from Fitchburg, not just all year, but 4 years. Try a squib onside-ish kick here. Try to keep Doherty guessing. Unfortunately, it is picked up by Ryan Dennis, and Ryan Dennis is gone down the far sideline. No flags on the field. Touchdown, Doherty. Am I wrong about that whole no flags thing?
Someone just ran on the field and picked something up at the 40.
Dang it.
That was the tee that he picked up.
I didn't see any, but I also didn't see anybody signaling touchdown, so. Presumably we'll get a ruling. Doherty has just realized that they've scored, so they're happy. Was a lot of confusion to go around after that play, Dan.
During the return, personal foul, face mask, kicking team. The result of the play is a touchdown. That penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
So there was a foul, but it is against Fitchburg. Take a look again at the tremendous return by Ryan Dennis. See if we can spot anybody grabbing at the face mask. I didn't see it on Dennis. It must have been away from the play. Dennis went in pretty much untouched. And you see he immediately turns around to celebrate and to check out what the whistle situation is going on behind him. So you remember all of that, you know, big strike, quick play, Fitchburg's got some momentum. Oh my God, it's only a 2-score game. We might well do this on senior night. It's going to be a great miracle. We're going to beat Doherty, you know, all that good stuff. Yeah, that lasted about 7 seconds.
Wind out of the sails. The sails burned down is what actually happened.
Oh. Fitchburg gets a lot of pressure on the extra point, but not enough. It is up and through. So just like that, we're back to a 3-score game, 28-7 Highlanders. 12 seconds left to play in the half. A lot of stuff has happened in the last, say, 10, 15 seconds on the clock. Dan?
This is, I would say this has been
eventful.
It's been a very unpredictable game.
Yeah. I think the only thing, if you told someone like going in who knew these teams, if you told them at halftime it's gonna be 28-7 Doherty, they would be like, huh, okay, that sounds about right. If you told them how we got here, it would be a lot of like, wait, what? Doherty had 4th and how much? Now, after the 15-yard penalty on the kickoff, Doherty will be kicking off from the Fitchburg 45. I mean, heck, it's been weird enough already. Do you want to just onside it here? Would that be mean? That feels mean.
It's a big splotch of grass between the 35 and the 20 that nobody's standing in. Could also aim for that. See if you can win a foot race.
They kick a ground ball right through there. It's picked up by one of the up men. Bounces out of a tackle at the 25, but spun down at about the 28-yard line is Ali Coheel. Leaves 6 whole seconds on the clock, which I feel the need to note is enough time for Niall Sim to take a snap, drop back, and throw it to Luke Bolak, who's running a streak. Now, granted, part of the reason that worked so well last time is that nobody saw it coming, and now everybody sees it coming, but, you know. We will see what Paul DiGeronimo and his Raiders do. Sim will take the play to the huddle.
I feel like in this case you might as well run something. One play, one shot. See if you can change things up just a little bit. Bolak will move out to a receiving slot.
He's in the near slot. Sim pump fakes. They were trying to hit Bolak on the screen, and instead, Niall Sim hits the turf. Jalen Givens makes the sack, and that will send us to halftime with the score Doherty 28, Fitchburg 7. Well, Dan, a lot of different stories come to mind for this second quarter. About halfway through, you think, okay, it's 7-0. Fitchburg just got a big stop. They're going to get the ball back. And then, well, hold on, wait a second. No, they didn't actually get the stop. Doherty has scored again. All right, game's getting a little out of hand now. Then Doherty scores again. Fitchburg answers right back. And Doherty answers back up with an answer of their own. A very eventful final 60-ish seconds of this second quarter.
There was just a lot of happening going on. So many different things. We had penalties. We had penalties, big plays.
I feel like a Fred Armisen character. This game has everything.
As it goes, and we still have 24 minutes of football to play.
We do indeed. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's senior night here at Crocker Field. The band is coming out to perform. They will be recognized. Their seniors will be honored. And we will have the entire second half of action for you. Don't go anywhere, folks. It all happens right here on FATV.
Ladies and gentlemen, before the band provides their halftime entertainment, we'd like to take a few moments to recognize the seniors on this year's marching band. And the first one we're going to start off with is Evan Bagnoshi. Congratulations, Evan. Another senior of this year's band, Jubilee Carreras. Elliot Gustafson. Daniel Lee. Ariana Rodriguez Moore. The color guard captain, Bella Karen. Section leader, Quincy Walker. And drum majors, Chi Meng Mua and Madison Perron. Congratulations to this year's senior band members. And now it's time for a little entertainment.
back here at historic Crocker Field as the Red Raiders trail Doherty 28-7 as we get ready for the start of the third quarter here on senior night. And Dan, this has been a very weird football game, hasn't it?
We've had a lot of curiosities in this contest. One of the positives for the Raiders is they've held this high-octane Doherty offense to just 14 points. The bad news is the special teams
has also held the Doherty team to 14 points, which is bad when your special teams unit does that.
Opened and closed their scoring accounts in the first half with special teams touchdowns, a punt return for a touchdown and a kickoff return for a touchdown.
That kickoff return came after Fitchburg got their biggest play of the game, that 55-yard touchdown strike. Niall Sim to Luke Bolak. Looked for a moment like the Red Raiders were going to mount a 3-score comeback, get themselves back into this one. And Doherty said, actually, no. No, actually. Ryan Dennis took it back to the house. It's back to a 3-score lead. And, oh, by the way, you have to kick it off again right now. Third quarter is underway. This kick bounces off of Dennis's leg. He picks it up at the 24, dances out of one tackle, gets across the 30, and is plowed down at about the 36-yard line. That's where Doherty's offense will take over. And Dan, we've seen the potential for the Highlanders. The big plays are in there. They just haven't been able to consistently execute.
We've seen a lot of the poise and talent of Josh Romeo, the quarterback for Doherty. And some solid running from Malachi Burke. Juan Reynolds and Javon Mays have both done tremendous work out there for the Highlanders as well.
Doherty has, however, had drives short circuit, one by a turnover, one by penalties. Romeo has thrown an interception. He's also punted on 4th and 31. Part of the reason that Doherty's offense has only scored twice. Of course, they do still enjoy a 3-touchdown lead as they come out here 1st and 10 at their own 36. Motion man to the near side is Rodriguez. Romeo pumps that way. He'll keep it himself. It's across the line to the 45. He's got a first down before being driven out of bounds. Good run there by the junior QB, Josh Romeo.
The Raiders have done a solid job of getting into the backfield and really forcing Romeo to scramble. But the thing is, Romeo has wheels. It's the first official carry for him tonight, and he gets to the 48-yard line.
I think this was a designed run the whole way. He pumps the screen to the near side and then never looks downfield. He just takes off and runs with it. Gets himself a first down.
I guess if you're prepared to run like that, then it's a little easier to scramble in that case when you're not really scrambling.
Romeo does have 3 rushing touchdowns on the season. Handoff on first down, right up the middle and right down to the turf goes Malachi Burke. He ran into a red brick wall. Got knocked down after a gain of nothing. Take a look at it again.
Burke just trying to get around Shea Gagne, and Gagne plus the turf monster equals a win for the Raiders.
Yeah, I thought it was a shoulder block by Gagne, but you're right, Dan. It was mostly Burke blowing a tire. We've seen that a couple of times tonight. It is a little muggy. I wouldn't be too surprised if the field's a touch slick. Nowhere near as bad, of course, as it was last week.
Yeah, we've had tremendous weather the last couple of days and tonight as well. It's the best weather we've had all season.
2nd down 10, Romeo back to pass, looking long, downfield to the far side and incomplete. He was trying to hit Juan Reynolds. Good coverage by Luke Bolak, number 1 hanging in step with number 1. Reynolds is significantly taller, but the pass was too tall for either of them. Romeo had plenty of time. He didn't really set his feet. He kind of turned to the left and kind of put his arm into that one. Pass sailed maybe just a little bit, but it fell incomplete, and now it'll be 3rd down and 9 for Doherty.
And Romeo, just a junior. Of all the quarterbacks that the Telegram and Gazette have tracked this season, Romeo has more passing yards than any of them.
Hasn't really hit the big play tonight. We'll see if he can pick up 3rd down and 9 here. Pumps, goes over the middle, pass is caught. Okay, this time I promise he's shy of the line to gain. Ball comes out well after the whistles blow, and a flag is thrown as well. Isaiah Burchett is there again, the center of controversy, and again, I don't think this one is his fault. See He's Sean Burke talking to Paul DiGeronimo. Now he'll confer with his other officials. It was Burke who threw the flag, so I think he knows what he saw, but he wants to confirm.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense number 7, 15-yard penalty. It's first down.
They're going to get Fitchburg for extending the play. It's Niall Sim who they call. I didn't even see Sim in that scrum, but there were a lot of red shirts in there. So after the whistles blew, they say it was unsportsmanlike and against the rules of football to throw him to the turf and strip the ball out like that. That 15-yard penalty negates what had been a good stop on third down, Dan.
This time he was truly short of the first down, but the penalty flag changes all of that. And speaking of penalty flags,
are you suggesting that someone has thrown a yellow handkerchief onto the playing surface, indicating that a gentleman may have broken the rules
offense,
of football?
5-yard penalty, first down.
I'm just taking Mr. Burke's word for it.
Okay. All right. You know, we've been lucky we haven't had to break out that running joke this year, but I think it's time. And once again, I think that's the second time they've gotten it on Malachi Burke. He takes a step back and begins surging forward right there before the ball is snapped. You can't do that. That's against the rules of football.
Yeah, this is in Canada. They don't like that.
5-yard penalty makes it 1st and 15. Handoff goes this time to Patrick Dowd. Dowd bounces it out to the far side. He's got about 10 yards.
That's Patrick Dowd on the carry.
Great run there for the senior.
Aiden Baez first to get
Dowd only 12 carries on the season. Not a huge part of the Doherty offense. But he gets 10 yards there.
So he makes up the penalty and a little more.
With a 3-score lead, why not try to mix a few different players and personnel in there?
Line.
And Dowd, one of those seniors who's done a whole lot this year. He's got a touchdown on the ground. He's got 18 tackles, an interception, 4 sacks, so more prolific on the defensive side.
And Doherty has gone with this shotgun 2-back formation a lot of the time. You've got to keep Fitchburg honest. Every once in a while, give it to the other guy. Now pass on second down to the near side is caught. He's across the 10 before he'll be driven down at the 5-yard line. Jackson Head lunges forward. A great gain for him after the catch. It was a very well-designed play. Head was wide open in space. Made the catch and got a lot of yards afterward.
As it being a 20-yard completion, that's actually the longest completion of the night for Doherty. Considering how far Josh Romeo can throw the football, it actually seems surprising that that's their longest completion.
And I think part of the reason Head was able to get so much after the catch was that the Fitchburg defender was once again trying to be aggressive and jump the route. Fortunately, it didn't pay off that time. Now 1st and goal, handoff goes to the left side. This is Ben Gnadik, and Ben Gnadik is in. Touchdown Doherty.
Takes it in for 6.
Ben Gnadik, the 5-yard run, his 2nd touchdown of the year.
34-7.
On his first touch of the football, he gets the 5 yards, even as number 5 tries to tackle him short of the line. Gnadik gets in for 6.
There's nothing Devani DeLeon could do about that. Sean Mulcahy's got to be happy. His offense comes to life with their first drive of the 3rd quarter. Extra point attempt from Burke. It is up and good. 35-7 is the score. Fitchburg showed a little bit of life getting that quick strike touchdown to make it a 2-score game with less than a minute to play. But then a kickoff return for a touchdown, a sack as Fitchburg tried to answer, and Doherty's offense with their most impressive drive of the game made this a 4-score game.
Doherty putting it together on that drive. Looking at their receivers, 11 receptions between 5 different receivers. Romeo 11 for 16 for 98 yards and a score. Burchett has 3 catches. Ryan Dennis, Javon Mays, Jackson Head, and Juan Reynolds all have 2. Very evenly distributed tonight.
Makes it very tough to defend for Fitchburg if you've got so many weapons. You can't cover all of them for very long. Kickoff bounces at about the 20, goes out to the far side. Bolak's got it at the 16 or so. Good blocking for him. He's across the 30, still on his feet, Luke Bolak into the open field for a moment, gets out to midfield before being brought down. The kick return game continues to do the work for Fitchburg. Offense will have great field position once again.
That's been one of the big bright spots tonight, is the Raiders have been very good at returning kicks. Luke Bolak's first kick return of the night. And look at him moving forward. Just a couple tackles from behind, but even then, after about a 35-yard run back, bring it all the way to the 49.
That's great work by Bolak in open space, dancing through tackles, not much room to work with, but he found the hole he needed, and he got a great return out of it. Now the ball's loose, fumble by DeLeon on the first play for the Raiders. It's picked up by Doherty, and going all the way back for a touchdown is Javon Mays. A flag is in after the play, however. This one's coming back when it shouldn't be. This is going to be a block in the back on Doherty, 10 yards behind the play.
Flags on the play.
Javon Mays should have a scoop and score. It's going to be taken off the board.
Let's have a look at the replay.
During the return of the fumble, illegal block in the back, return team number 58, 10-yard penalty, first down Doherty.
DeLeon wasn't hit or anything, he just never had the handle of the football. Mays with the scoop and score, he's gone. No one is catching him. And right there at the bottom left corner of the screen, you just barely see the Raider being thrust to the ground by a block in the back 10 yards behind the play. It's still a huge play for Doherty. They've got the ball in Fitchburg territory. It's great for them. But man, if you're Sean Mulcahy and the special teams coaches at Doherty, you're going to be taking that guy aside and being like, hey, look, buddy, guy's 10 yards downfield. Just let him go run.
You don't have to do anything
Ball gets spotted
that looks illegal, that can take something off like that.
Even after the penalty, Doherty gets it 1st and 10 at the Fitchburg 24. So there are certainly worse positions for them to be in. Handoff goes to Burke, dancing through tackles behind the line of scrimmage. He gets across the line. Second effort, I thought he was down at the 20. They'll finally say kill his forward momentum at about the 18-yard line.
Burke on the carry.
Good gain there by the senior Malachi Burke.
Number of Red Raiders, including Shea Ganya and DeLeon. All over the place as usual.
He's battling and churning and staying on his feet. Malachi Burke, a very talented running back for the Highlanders. Able to get 5 yards on that one. He's trying to get over 500 yards on the ground this season. Needed 80 to get to that mark. He's at 55.
Oh, excuse me, 19 yards.
Five-yard run on first down.
Handoff goes to the left side, and driven down hard is Dante Agapor. First carry of the game for him. Agapor, the junior, tackled by Niall Sim. As we take a moment to recognize, actually, let's take a look at this play once again. Agapor just wrapped up right at the waist and spun down. And we get some whistles and flags. Daniel, the gentleman has thrown a yellow handkerchief onto the playing surface.
Legal substitution, 12 players in formation, offense, 5-yard penalty, it's third down.
So as to indicate that a person has conducted himself in a manner not in accordance with the posted rules of American football. He shall be penalized 5 yards and justly scolded.
That is the 11th accepted penalty tonight.
There's a reason I started doing the running gag.
And we've had a few, couple unsportsmanlike conducts and some other things, yeah.
Romeo back to pass on 3rd and 8 now. Under pressure, rolls to his left, throws to the end zone. That pass is woefully underthrown and intercepted. Niall Sim with the pick. That block in the back looms large for Doherty. Points taken off the board, and the offense can't get them back. Again, Dan, Romeo's rolling out to his left. He's got time to set his feet and throw, but instead he just chucks it, trying to hit Isaiah Burchett. But that pass, again, was just woefully underthrown, and Niall Sim has one of the easier interceptions he will ever make.
Second pick of the night for Sim. He's right back in there, a quarterback. And that first interception, he had to jump that route, read that play well, and come away with it. This time it was just be like a receiver and catch the ball.
Yeah, he was playing safety in the deep zone. It's almost like a punt return, just floated right to him. Now 1st and 10 for the Raiders inside the 5-yard line. Handoff plunge straight up the middle. It's a good gain, about 8, 9, 10 yards for Devani DeLeon.
DeLeon on the carry.
As the Raiders get their second down play call, we will hear once again about all the wonderful underwriters who help support us here on FATV.
Fitchburg Access Television's remote productions for the 2023 sports season are brought to you in part by Rollstone Bank and Trust, Acme Carpet One, Leominster Credit Union, the Sentinel Enterprise, and Minuteman Press.
It's a 1st down run for Devani DeLeon. Now passed by Sim to the far side, is caught by Bolak. That's going to be another 1st down for Fitchburg. Red Raiders started this drive inside their own 10-yard line. They've already got it outside the 25. Daniel, I have some shocking news to announce. A gentleman has thrown a yellow handkerchief onto the playing surface, indicating that one of the participants may have conducted himself in a manner not
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense number 15, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
With the printed rules of American football. And also, that's another one on Isaiah Burchett. I think Burchett has been called for 2 personal fouls and been the center of 3 more.
We've said it's been a night.
It's been a night. That's a fair and accurate statement.
2 plays ago, the Raiders were on their own 5.
Now they're on their own 43. Sim under center, 2 receivers to the near side. Handoff straight up the gut for Devani DeLeon. He's got himself about 5 yards. And now, Dan, with Bolak lined up as a wide receiver rather than in the backfield, Doherty has to respect that. They have to line guys up to cover him, which in turn frees up the middle of the field for DeLeon.
Now with that, the Raiders, it helps them expand the offense a little bit, especially they now know that Niall Sim's got a solid arm. He's got the ability to move. They move out of the single back now.
2nd down 6. Sim's pass to the near side is complete. 1st down Raiders into Doherty territory. Luis Santos with another catch, brought down at the 41. Fitchburg's starting to move.
I believe this is only the 2nd game this year that Sim has played at quarterback. So Doherty doesn't have a whole lot of film on him. I believe the Auburn game was the one other time that Sim was taking snaps under center. And there wasn't really a whole lot to get from that game. But now seeing Sim being able to work and move the football in the single back formation. We haven't seen Fitchburg operate out of this too much either.
Sim wanted to go deep on 1st down this time. It wasn't there and the pocket collapsed. He's brought down for a loss of 4 on the sack. Credit Jordan Bennett with the initial hit.
Jordan Bennett and number 10.
Take a look at it from behind the play. You see Sim wants to hit Bolak to the right, and when that's not there, and that could be the inexperience of Sim at quarterback. His primary receiver isn't there, and he doesn't go through a progression. He doesn't look at anybody else. He immediately thinks, okay, I got to take off and run with it. And by that time, the pocket's gone, and he's down for a loss of 4 yards. Now they go back to the I, straight drop, tried to set up the bubble screen to the near side. It's got a completion into the open field. 1st down and more. Driving forward across the 30-yard line is Richard Solomon. First time we've called Solomon's name tonight, but he's got a big gainer there, and it's another Fitchburg 1st down.
Sim was under pressure immediately, had to get that off with basically no time to react. Solomon standing right there at the line of scrimmage, ready to get that ball. And with the blocking and everything as it goes, he just is able to get on his feet, go for 14 yards, a 1st down for the Red Raiders.
Fitchburg looking to keep this game close. 1st down handoff goes to DeLeon, straight up the middle. It's nothing fancy, but it's 3 yards. He'll take it. Makes it 2nd down and 7, keeps the offense open.
Picks up about 2, maybe 3. It's going to be 2nd and 7.
It'll be 2nd down and 7 now for Fitchburg. Nothing fancy again there, just a simple plunge up the middle.
We're at the 27-yard line.
But with Doherty having to respect the pass just that little bit more, a play that might have gotten blown up in the backfield for nothing instead gets you 3 yards. Now on 2nd, Sims straight drop, chucks it deep. That pass is going to be picked. Grabbed there by Ryan Dennis, and Dennis has got to return. He's across the 30. He's going to hurdle a man at the 40 before being spun down at the Doherty 45-yard line. Ryan Dennis with a tremendous kick return. Unfortunately, Daniel, I must inform you and the viewers at home that one of the officials has thrown a yellow handkerchief onto the playing surface, indicating that one of the participants may, in fact, have conducted himself in a manner not in accordance.
After the interception during the return, holding, return team, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. It's 1st down Doherty.
With the printed rules of American football.
This time a hold on the return.
Not quite as disastrous as the last time Doherty was penalized on the return of a turnover, but still, it's got to be frustrating for Sean Mulcahy. This may be, listen, Sean Mulcahy's been coaching for a very long time. I'm sure he's had a lot of games like this. This might be the most frustrating 4-score win in Sean Mulcahy's coaching career. There is a lot to be worried about on the Doherty side, even as they lead this one 35-7 with the football. Penalty sets them back inside the 20, 1st and 10 at the 18. Run up the middle goes to Dante Agapor.
Agapor on the carry.
Junior running back had just 6 carries coming in, but it is worth noting it's a 4-score game. You get a little bit deeper into your depth charts in such a situation.
I want to go back to that interception too. Looked like it was from 2v2. 2 players for Doherty, 2 players for Fitchburg who had a chance to get that football, and ultimately fell in between the 2 Raiders, and that was right in the midst of the sophomore in Ryan Dennis. He brings it back officially for 23 yards before the penalty stops the counting.
Takes a lot. 2nd down and 6. Romeo still from the shotgun. Looks to his left, throws that way, pass is incomplete. Thrown behind Dennis, who then himself was thrown to the turf. But the officials will not penalize Luke Bolak for that. It's good pass coverage, they say.
Completing his action.
Sure.
So it's 3rd and 6 now.
Look, I'm not going to complain about not penalizing anyone in this game. Pass that time just a little bit behind Dennis. He was coming across the field, had to kind of reverse course and try to get behind him to make the catch. Unable to do so. Sets up 3rd down and 6. Now Doherty will go 5 wide. Romeo all alone in the backfield. He looks to his left, he throws to his left, pass is caught. That's going to be a 1st down for Doherty. First catch of the day for Dean Pullman, the senior receiver. It's his 10th of the season. Puts him over 150 receiving yards.
Matches number 10.
It's 1st and 10 now.
We talked about the number of receivers Romeo has at his disposal. There's another one. Big number 10, Dean Pullman. Highlanders will stick with the 5 wide set. Minute and a half to play in this 3rd quarter. Romeo under pressure, evades 1 tackler, wants to go long. Couple of receivers down there. Pullman had a chance at it. I think the ball bounced off the nook of his elbow, and it falls incomplete. You see Pullman grabbing at his helmet. He feels he should have had a catch, and frankly, I agree with him.
He had the best look of all out of everyone there. 2v2 with 2 Highlanders, and I think the 2 Highlanders had the best look to pull that in. It goes off of Pullman, whether it be his arms, his hands, his elbows. It goes incomplete, and he knows he should have had consecutive receptions there.
You can tell that Doherty feels they have the advantage. They go from the hurry up even after an incomplete pass. They're already back to the line. Romeo calling signals. Bad snap. He has to grab it and does. Under pressure, rolls to his right. Time now to set and throw. Great coverage downfield by the Raiders. Daniel, a gentleman, has thrown a yellow handkerchief onto the playing surface, indicating that one of the participants may have comported himself in a manner inconsistent with the printed rules of American football, as the pass falls incomplete.
I think that was a hold there, and they may not even enforce this one. Salome had gotten into the backfield and was really wreaking havoc.
Fitchburg didn't send much of a pass rush. They only had 3 guys coming after Romeo.
Holding. Offense number 77, 10-yard penalty, remains second down.
They will accept this penalty and back them up 10.
See right there, pretty much middle of your screen. Yeah, you can't do that. You've got 2 hands full of Ezekiel Acevedo's shirt. That is against the rules, Mr. Kaiser. You cannot do that. 10-yard penalty makes it 2nd and 20. Romeo passed to the near side, tried to jump the route again, did Niall Sim. He was sniffing a 3rd pick that would have been a pick 6. Pass was a little bit high, trying to hit Juan Rodriguez. Neither Sim nor Rodriguez could catch it, but this was a very dangerous throw, Dan.
It was, and Sim had a really good read on it. Instead, we'll have to settle for a pass breakup.
Now 3rd down and 20. This is turning into another one of those drives where Doherty looks very capable, talented, and explosive, but they can't actually execute. They had to punt earlier tonight on a 4th and 31. They're at risk of a similar fate here. Daniel, I feel the need to inform you and our viewers at home in Fitchburg and everywhere else at FATV.org and on the FATV app and available
illegal
on
substitution,
your Roku,
12
TV,
players in formation,
Apple
offense,
iPhone,
5-yard penalty,
Android devices.
Still 3rd down.
That one of the officials has thrown a yellow handkerchief onto the playing surface, indicating that one, or in this case more, of the participants have comported themselves in such a manner as to be inconsistent with the printed and agreed upon rules of American football. So it's a 5-yard penalty, makes it now 3rd and 25. They'll go handoff to the right side to Burke, trying to make something happen. But Fitchburg has invaded the house of Burke. They will bring him down after just a 5-yard gain. It's my mandatory wrestling reference for the night. Just because I have a running gag doesn't mean I don't get to bring back the other running gags. I have many gags, but enough about my personal life.
And for any Doherty fans tuning in, we have a bag of shtick.
I think they know. I suppose if you are watching for the first time, we should introduce myself. Hi, I'm John. I think I'm funny, and they gave me a live mic, so you can't stop me, really. 4th and 20. Romeo will kick it away. This is a high, booming punt. Bounces at the 35, bounces off of Baez before being grabbed by Bolak. He's going to try to make something happen by running backwards, which is typically not a great idea, and in this case ends about as you would expect. Luke Bolak is brought down at the 35-yard line. That's where Fitchburg's offense will take over. We haven't even mentioned the soft, gentleman's competition that I've been having with Keith DePerry in the truck. I'm up to 3 tonight, by the way. Just want to throw that out there. Context will not be provided. This one's just for us. Raiders come out with 4 wide. There's Luke Bolak up at the top. Sim under pressure. It's a designed pressure, though. Try to set up the screen to Solomon. Pass is complete, but he's only able to get back to the line of scrimmage. And that will take us to the end of the 3rd quarter with Doherty leading 35-7. And again, Dan, we've gone through another quarter of football. Doherty only got 1 touchdown. Fitchburg's defense has, by and large, been doing their part. How much of that has been Doherty helping them out? Well, that's an exercise for the viewer.
The Raiders do hold Doherty to just the 1 score, and with a 28-point lead at 3/4 time, that means mercy has not yet been declared, and we'll have traditional time for the 4th quarter, at least the beginning of it. There have been some positives to take for the Red Raiders. This has just been a very, very interesting game. One thing I also do want to note, back in week 1, we had this same refereeing crew, and North Middlesex finished with over 100 penalty yards.
They did. They did. Far be it from me to accuse another person of enjoying the sound of his voice. But I will say, Sean Burke is comfortable with the referee's mic. Is that fair to say?
He's had to use it quite a lot tonight. And there are very, 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 very few high school football fields in the state where you get the ability to actually turn on a microphone and tell the crowd and the viewing audience what has just happened.
And listen, part of that is because of the work we do here at FATV. There's a reason our logo is plastered on the scoreboard, and it's not just because we wanted it there. It's partly because we wanted it there.
It'll be DeLeon who will take the carry and just trying to fight with the line, move it forward. A couple of players from behind there, Patrick Dowd and Derek Ansa trying to pull DeLeon back and pull the football out.
Dowd and Ansah think they succeeded in pulling the football out. They were very upset at what they thought was a quick whistle. Take a look at this one again. There's absolutely nothing for DeLeon. He is still driving forward just as his momentum is stopped. The ball is stripped out. You can actually see Ansah raising his hands to the heavens, beseeching the officials, asking why they blew the whistle there.
And Sim's going to try to run with it himself. He's past the 40, and that's as far as he'll get.
Sim on the carry. Before making the tackle,
Juan Rodriguez will be the first to arrive for the Highlanders to take Sim down at the 40-yard line.
On the 40.
Now Fitchburg will send the punting unit out.
Be kicking away here.
As it was third down. All night Doherty's had 2 to return. Javon Mays and Juan Reynolds.
Javon Mays back.
Alan Hall will get a liner. This one's going to be misread a little bit by Mays, and now he's not going to have a return as the ball will actually roll out of bounds at the 23-yard line.
So the punt rolls out of bounds at the 23-yard line.
Good punt with a generous roll for Alan Hall.
And that's where Doherty will take over. First and 10.
Doherty's offense will come back out onto the field, looking to become the 6th team to send Fitchburg into a running clock situation this season. Is that about right?
Yep. Well, we'll have to navigate 77 yards to do so. 37-yard punt by Alan Hall. You know, football in Fitchburg has been a little rough this year.
Just a touch.
The Red Raiders 0-7 tonight, about to fall to 0-8 unless miracles happen. They do every day, you know. St. Bernard's 1-6 this year, just a million injuries.
Speaking of miracles that have not happened this year.
There'll be a run on first down to the right side, and Dante Agapor cannot find anywhere to go.
Agapor.
This time it's great penetration right up the gut by the Fitchburg line. Devani DeLeon called his name on both sides of the ball. He's been a key contributor for Fitchburg. One of the seniors being honored here on senior night.
We mentioned DeLeon's name so many times on offense. Maybe you forget that he has 56 tackles coming into tonight, and that's the team leader. Well, the best on defense, new quarterback, freshman for Doherty into the contest. As the handoff goes on second down, and 2 Raiders to meet him and wrap him up, and DeLeon and Bolak, the seniors, to meet Ben Ganotic.
The new quarterback is Connor Gentilucci. We've already seen him have a pretty helpful night. He's done really good work as the holder for Doherty, handling a few errant snaps on extra points, getting them down. But the freshman is also the backup quarterback.
That's how I remembered he was a freshman, but I couldn't remember exactly how to say his name without looking at the roster.
One of the joys and beauties and disasters, depending on your perspective, of scholastic sport is that you're always cycling through new players in. So even with a junior QB, if you've got the blowout lead, send your freshman in for some experience.
And Devani DeLeon will get a sack on Gentilucci.
DeLeon in on the sack.
Holds him down at the 13-yard line, and the Raiders force a 3-and-out.
Listen, getting spun to the turf at historic Crocker Field is a rite of passage for all quarterbacks in north central Massachusetts. It was going to happen to him eventually, and it's happened to him now. It's experience.
Get it out of the way now, lose the 6 yards. when your team is up by 4 scores. Raiders have Bolak and Baez out there. Romeo had been the punter tonight. Now he's got to come back into the game to do that.
Romeo's had a couple of very impressive punts.
High snap, but it pops right back to him. And he'll cream that ball off the foot. Baez running it down, thinking, yeah, maybe I shouldn't touch that. It is poison. It's supposed to be poison. Let's go to the 45-yard line of Doherty. And the Red Raiders with their best field position tonight, I would believe.
I don't believe they've had better. Inside the 45, chance for them to get some points on the board. I think realistically this game is done as a contest, and if you were to say, John, that's been the case since halftime, I would disagree with you, but you know.
First charge, time out of the half, Doherty.
Highlanders will take a moment to gather themselves before sending the defense back out. And while they take that moment, Dan, let's take a moment of our own to thank our tremendous crew who help us every week here on FATV. Our directors tonight are Nate Glennie and Keith DePerry. Travis Falk, technical supervisor, the man without whom none of this would be possible. Todd Gobbin doing a tremendous job as always on replay, and a cast of thousands on camera. We always enjoy having volunteers and students running cameras here for us on FATV, and a great number of them represented in this list. Robin Como, Tyler Sargent, Tony Sophia, Logan Corrado, Leo Wellick, and Prince Banangoy, all running camera for us here tonight. Thanks to all of them for the tremendous work.
Indeed. Going back to how much Fitchburg football has struggled this year, Monty Tech they've turned it around a little bit. They were 3-4 coming into tonight, getting a game against Assabet, who has 1 win themselves, hoping to find a score somewhere.
I, as a Marlboro High School, not quite alumnus, but let's go with it, I am very happy to hear that Assabet is bad. It makes me happy. Is Hudson bad?
They are not.
Well, can't have everything in life, I guess.
Hudson had 41 at the half against Ron Dunstable tonight.
That's good.
45 yards from goal, the Red Raiders on first down. Sim play action to Gagne. Will throw right side. That's going to be caught by Bolak. Tries to put on the brakes at the 35. The tire explodes there, but that's 10 yards and a first down.
Sim to Bolak has been the most consistent offense for Fitchburg. This time they actually go double play action, fake to Bolak, then fake to Gagne. Get Bolak coming out of the backfield. Picks up 10 yards and a first down. And again, this is all about just get your reps in, get some experience for the younger players, get some seniors honored here on senior night. Niall Sim, the senior, we haven't really seen him playing quarterback, but he's getting the chance now.
Need a 1st and 10, fakes the handoff, and DeLeon will take the catch at the 30-yard line, breaking off far side, 25-20, pushed out of bounds there by Noor Moreb. Another good gain for the Red Raiders.
Dan, this is really like consistently, since Sim has been in the game at quarterback and Fitchburg has been lining Luke Bolak up as a receiver rather than the tailback on every play, I've got to say this is the most dangerous we've seen Fitchburg's offense look all season. It's going to be interesting to see as they get into the makeup games and everyone has, you know, one eye always looking at Fenway Park the night before Thanksgiving. I must interrupt myself and inform you and our viewers at home that a gentleman wearing a striped shirt has thrown
Offside, number 33 of the defense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
onto the playing surface, and this yellow handkerchief signifies that authoritative man's belief that one of the participants in the contest has conducted himself in an unlawful, unruly, and frankly disrespectful manner, which itself is inconsistent, anathemas to the printed rules of American football. It's a thing that happened. I'll get back to my point in a second.
5 yards, the Raiders will pick up as Bolak shakes off one man, trying to shake off a second man. Third man, Bear hugs him from behind. Ultimately, Bolak will go down at the 15-yard line. He had to do a whole lot there.
He did. Oliver Kanadu figured out, however, that Bolek can't stiff arm you if you grab him from behind. That's the mistake that you make. That's the mistake that he makes. Kanadu's like, I'm not going at the front. He's going to stiff arm me. I'll just waist lock him to the ground. Smart man.
Very smart there for Kanadu. Had 3 tackles coming into today. Now he has a tackle for a loss to add to his credit.
To return to the point I was making 6 jokes and 2 plays ago, it's going to be interesting to see what kind of offense Fitchburg goes with the rest of the season.
That's intercepted on the far side by Agapor, and he's running it back 40-50. Sim's going to try to make up for it by tacking him down. Sim's had a couple interceptions tonight, and now he's thrown one. And that brings an end to that drive.
Okay, I said Fitchburg's offense was dangerous. I didn't necessarily mean that it was only dangerous to their opponents.
It's a sure been a football game.
Damari Pierre-Louis with the catch. No, excuse me. That was not. It was Dante Agapor, as you said. Just coming up from that free safety spot, jumping the route. It was only Sim who was able to steer him to the sideline and then bring him down. It stopped him from getting into the end zone for a pick 6.
Big return there for Doherty. Brings it to the 43-yard line of Fitchburg with 6:15 to go in the contest. Leading by 4 scores. Now just trying to get that clock running. First down, handoff. New running back going to the left side. Get a couple of yards. Give that one to Derek Makuha.
Makuha, the freshman, just 3 carries on the season. He does have a touchdown. And Dan, I know I've had a lot of running jokes tonight. We have had a running joke over the course of the season about players losing their helmet. And it just happened to Casiano Pedraza. He lost his helmet. He had to come off for a play. So we've got that streak going. Take a look at Pedraza's secondary screen right there. He's going to be driven down, and boom, off goes the hat.
Rough snap there, and trying to eat that one at the 45-yard line is the freshman quarterback in Connor Gentilucci.
Snapping has been a real issue for Doherty tonight. We first saw it on the extra point attempts, but now a couple of shotgun snaps, a punt snap earlier. It's been very difficult for the Highlanders. This time the freshman quarterback Gentilucci can't handle the football. He's able to fall on it. And really, Dan, once you're a quarterback and you've had that play start going that wrong, you need to just fall on the football. I also think Gentilucci may have injured a finger. You see him grabbing at the hand there as he reached up for that ball. I think he might be dealing with some finger pain there.
Doesn't go to plan. Solid snap there. But breaking into the backfield are the Raiders. The handoff going to Pat Murray for his 4th carry of the campaign. Maximus Bronya into the backfield to wrap him up.
I think there was a little bit of confusion in the backfield here, Dan, as to exactly who the ball carrier was supposed to be for Doherty. It took an extra beat for Murray to get the handoff from Gentilucci, and that allowed Maximus Bronya the time to get into the backfield and really blow up that play. Now it sets up what is shown as 4th down and 11, but the Highlanders are sending out the offense here. They're going to go for it. They are in the Fitchburg 44. I guess, give your freshman quarterback some experience. Why not? Here's what it's like to go for it on 4th and 11, buddy. Have fun.
Now the shotgun, Gentilucci will hand it off to Murray. He'll go around to the right side, try to find a hole on the flank, bouncing off a couple of tackles. Able to get some good yards, but needed 11, and that's not quite 11. Turnover on downs.
So Fitchburg's offense will come back out. Niall Sim, who had been a starter on defense, will just head right over to his head coach. Okay, coach, now I'm the quarterback. What's the play? We take another look at this 4th down play. It is, you're going for it on 4th and 11, but at the same time, you're up by 4 scores. You don't want to just chuck it downfield and really rub salt in the wound. So they try the sweep off to the far side, and it doesn't pick it up. Now Fitchburg's offense will get the opportunity to try to get points on the board here in the last 3:45.
Switching back to the I formation. And DeLeon, instead of going right through the middle, bounces out to the left side and gets a good run to the Doherty 40.
We saw that quick handoff to DeLeon work on Fitchburg's first drive and then immediately fall apart. Then as they've opened up the playbook, gone with a little bit more creative offense on other plays, it's come back to them, that simple handoff up the middle. If it's the only thing you can do, you're in trouble. If it's one of a dozen things you can do, it's a really effective play.
Back to the I formation, 3 receivers. They hand off to Bolak. He evades the tacklers and he keeps going to the 30. Now to the 20-yard line. Still more to face. And he's pushed out of bounds to the 15-yard line.
Once again, Dan, you see it. Fitchburg's offense, they're not a juggernaut. They're not a monster.
Very late flag.
Wait a second. Are you telling me? I didn't even see it. This comes as a shock to me. I don't believe it. Are you suggesting?
Offense
My
number
God,
9,
it's true.
10-yard penalty, first down.
A gentleman entrusted with authority to manage and officiate the football game has thrown onto the playing surface a yellow handkerchief from his very own pocket, which indicates this joke is so freaking long, and it gets longer every time, that someone on the playing field may have comported themselves in a manner inconsistent with the printed rules of American football. Are you telling me that's what happened?
Just the Raiders' 5th penalty tonight. That was accepted.
Okay. To return to my point. The Raiders' offense is not a juggernaut with Niall Sim at quarterback and Luke Bolak as either a tailback or a wide receiver, but it sure looks solid.
It's working. To the 30 this time.
Kinda.
Didn't find the success this time on the carry. Bolak going out to the left side.
On the tackle.
And multiple different Highlanders.
Lost.
Nor Morab leading the charge there for Doherty.
This time they go back to that strong eye and send the pitch to the strong side. Doherty was ready for it. They got Bolak in the backfield. And again, I'm not saying that Fitchburg can go score for score with Doherty here. Look at the top of the screen to see how well that's gone. But they're moving the ball. They're capable.
Sim dropping back, throws, tipped and intercepted!
They're sort of capable, sometimes.
He's trying to find Solomon, but was the lineman breaking through, and Glomar Gonzalez, the sophomore, who comes away with the pick.
Glomar Gonzalez on the interception.
We've seen Fitchburg try this quick screen to the receiver a few times tonight. The idea is that the offensive lineman let the defensive lineman get past them, let them think they're going to sack the quarterback, and then the QB floats the ball over their heads to a wide open receiver who has blockers in front of him, and he runs 1,000 yards and he gets 6 points. That's the idea. The execution in this case left a little bit to be desired, and Glomar Gonzalez did a great job getting his hands up, deflecting that pass, and then bringing in the interception and getting a nice return on top of it.
So many linemen will do the first thing, get their hands up in the air to knock it down, but not so many are able to close their hands on the football and come away with the pick. Ball goes to the 40-yard line of Fitchburg. Makua out to the left side, turning the corner, going upfield, past the 30, and worked out of bounds there.
Another high snap. Gentilucci does a good job just bringing it down. And then it's Derek Makua, able to get out of, turn the corner, get past that edge. Gets a really good run and another first down. As Doherty's backup offense looks to get some experience under their belts, get some more points on the board. I would say send this one into mercy, but there's a minute 50 left in the fourth. It feels kind of beside the point to do that now, but
one of the things I haven't talked about tonight is on social media, Doherty has talked about how this season their theme has been revenge tour. Trying to get revenge over all the teams that have vanquished them last season. Of the games that were scheduled, most of them gets the same opponents. Makua up the middle to the 25-yard line. Playing with the tackle for the Red Raiders. And we mentioned Fitchburg did beat Doherty last year, 16-7.
I would say the Highlanders have, for the most part, gotten their revenge tonight. Obviously, there are things to be worked on and improvements to be made, turnovers and penalties chief among them. But, you know, you go on the road and you win 35-7, or if it's worse than that, you're going to be happy. You're going to be at least a little bit satisfied, I would say.
Tolucci out of the shotgun with under a minute to go in the contest. Highlanders taking their time, and they're just going to kneel it down.
I don't think I've ever seen a shotgun victory formation.
I've seen it a couple of times. It's pretty rare, but a team that likes working out of the shotgun, sometimes they're just not comfortable going under center just for the kneel down.
And especially when you've got a freshman quarterback, doesn't get much practice, you know what? Take your knee from the shotgun. Whatever. It works.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it here tonight. Final score.
35-7 is the final for Doherty. A dominating performance? Question mark? I mean, sort of. Listen, Dan, Fitchburg's defense held Doherty to 21 points. And granted, their backups played most of the fourth quarter, but I think they can be reasonably proud of that. Their offense at times looked competent and capable and dangerous, all things that we frankly have not always been able to say about the Red Raiders. At the same time, they lost 35-7, so how positive a game can this really be?
Part of it was seeing just different looks, seeing the offense try some different things. They found some success with it. But another thing, too, is they did make Doherty play the entire 48 minutes. No mercy declared tonight, no running clock. And the Raiders, more often than not this year, the game has ended with the clock running, but not this time. The Raiders stave off mercy, but for Doherty, they came in and did what they needed to do. They got their revenge on the Red Raiders, they got their maximum win, and then some, and they came away with a solid performance. There are definitely a lot of things to clean up. They had 12 accepted penalties against them. They finished with just 223 yards of offense, which I feel is a little low for what they probably would have expected.
They certainly seemed capable of.
They did, but in the end, Sean Mulcahy will take the victory. The Highlanders finished their regular season with a record of 7-1, and they should be comfortably in the Division III playoffs. As for Fitchburg, they finished the regular season 0-8, and 2 consolation games will await them over the next 2 weeks. As we alluded to earlier, we won't know until at least Sunday who, for one, the Week 9 opponent is going to be and where that game is going to be, and likewise the following Sunday or thereabouts is going to be when we find out the Week 10 opponent and location.
Now, this is a legitimate, genuine question, something I should probably know and you hopefully know. Is there a guarantee that at least one of those is a home game for Fitchburg?
There is no guarantee, considering last year Fitchburg fully expected to have a consolation game somewhere Week 9 or 10, and both times they got sent on the road to Algonquin and to Tantascwa. And that's another thing, too. We also don't know if the game's going to be on a Friday or a Saturday, too, because that comes down to logistics, scheduling, buses, officials, those sort of things.
Okay, so we can say with some certainty that next Saturday here on FATV, we will have football.
We will have a football game next Saturday on FATV.
Will we also have a football game next Friday? You're going to have to, tune to FATV. Yep. FATV's social media. Find us on Twitter. We're not calling it by any letter. The name of the website is Twitter. Our Facebook, our website, our channel, all of those things. We will know. And as soon as we know, you will know. And we will be able to deliver that information to you. But, again, for Dan Bullock, and for our entire FATV crew, I'm John Gugerty saying thank you, folks, so much for being with us. We will see you next time right here on FATV.